Dr. Jesse John, an assistant professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss anatomy of the shoulder joint. Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. We can say shoulder girdle in another term, pectoral girdle also, and it is the set of the bones which connects the upper limb to the axial skeleton on each side. And what is the importance of it? It will uh, transfer the weight of the upper limb to the axial skeleton. And the pectoral gird consists of the clavicle and scapula. The only true anatomical joint between the shoulder girdle and the axial skeleton is the sternoclavicular joint on each side. No anatomical joint between scapula and the rib cage, but there is muscular connection between the two. This permits great mobility of the shoulder girdle. So it is important that there is the connection between two skeleton, upper limb and the axial skeleton is the only joint that is the sternoclavicular joint. It is very small joint and the main part is played by the all the muscular system that is around the scapula and the back of the region. Muscle of the shoulder girdle are deltoid supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, teres major, and subscapularis. And we will see the deltoid muscle. The origin from the deltoid muscles are the anterior fibers will take the origin from the anterior border of the lateral third of the clavicle, whereas middle fibers take origin from the lateral border of the acromion process of the scapula and the posterior fibers from the lower border of the spine of the scapula. Then it will insert it into the deltoid tuberosity on middle of the lateral surface of the shaft of the humerus, supplied by the axillary nerve, and it has the action of mm, different actions and that will performed by the different fibers. Anterior fibers helps the flexes and medially rotates the arm, whereas the posterior fibers extends and laterally rotate the arm, and middle fibers abducts the arm till the level of the head. We can see here the deltoid muscle very clearly, and other muscles from the take the origin from the scapula. Supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscles. Supraspinatus will take the origin from the supraspinous fossa of the scapula and it will insert into the upper facet of the greater tuberosity of the humerus and upper part of the capsule of the shoulder joint. It will supplied by the suprascapular nerve and action it had the action the abduction of the arm and it will stabilize and support the shoulder joint. Infraspinatus, it will take the origin from the infraspinatus fossa of the scapula and it will insert into the middle impression of the greater tuberosity of the humerus and posterior part of the capsule of the shoulder joint. Now supply will be suprascapular nerve and it has the action of laterally rotate the arm and stabilize and supports the shoulder joint. We can see here the supraspinatus, infraspinatus. I have replaced in the supraspinous and infraspinous fossa. Now we will see the teres major and teres minor. Teres major take the origin from the lower third of the dorsal surface of the lateral border of the scapula and insert into the medial lip of the bicipital groove of the humerus and nerve supply will be lower scapular nerve and it adducts and extends and medial rotates the arms. It is the main option of the teres major. Teres minus will take the origin from the upper two-thirds of the dorsal surface of the lateral border of the scapula. Then it will insert into the lower facet of the greater tuberosity of the humerus and posterior part of the capsule of the shoulder joint. and it will supply it by the axillary nerve, and it will laterally rotate the arm and stabilize and support the shoulder joint. You can see here, this is the supraspinatus muscle, and you can see here the teres major, and along with the teres major there will be teres minor also. Subscapularis, it will take the origin from the subscapular fossa and insert into the lesser tuberosity of the humerus, and now supplied will be upper and lower subscapular nerve, and it adducts and medially rotates the arm, and it will stabilize the shoulder joint. Rotator cuff, it is the name that given to the tendons of the subscapularis, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor muscles, which are fused to the underlying capsule of the shoulder joint. The cuff plays a very important role in stabilizing the shoulder joint. The tone of these muscles assists in holding the head of the humerus in the glenoid cavity of the scapula during the movements at the shoulder joint. The cuff lies on the anterior, superior, and posterior aspects of the joint. Cuff is deficient inferiorly, and this is the site of potential weakness. So we can see here the tendons, that is the rotator cuff, and deficient inferiorly, and so the major part of the weakness of this part. We can see the laterally all the tendons of that are the make the rotator cuff. Intermuscular spaces in the shoulder region. What are the intermuscular spaces? We can see here quadrangular spaces that is made by above subscapularis and teres minor, that is the anterior and the posterior, below by teres major, medially by the long head of the triceps, laterally by the surgical neck of the humerus. They will make the boundaries of the quadrangular spaces. And what will be the content of this quadrangular spaces? Axillary nerve and posterior circumflex humeral vessels. Upper triangular spaces, it is bounded superiorly by the teres minor muscles, inferiorly by the teres major muscle, and laterally by the long head of the triceps. And the major content of the upper triangular spaces is the circumflex scapular vessels. Lower triangular spaces, it is formed by the superiorly by the teres major muscle, and medially by the long head of the triceps, and laterally by the medial head of the triceps. And the main content of the lower triangular spaces are radial nerve and profunda brachii artery. Suprascapular nerve arises from the upper trunk of the brachial plexus in the posterior triangle in the neck. It runs downward and laterally and passes beneath the suprascapular ligament, which bridge the suprascapular notch to reach the supraspinous fossa. It supplies the supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscles and the shoulder joint. Now we will see the axillary nerve. Axillary nerve arises from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus in the axilla, and it passes backward, enters the quadrangular spaces with the posterior circumflex humeral artery, and terminates by dividing into anterior and posterior branches. And there are branches, the anterior terminal branches, articular branches, posterior terminal branches, and we will study the axillary nerve in other video. Now we will see the arterial anastomosis around the shoulder joint. It is an important arterial anastomosis between the branches of the first part of the subclavian artery, part of the axillary artery, ensuring that an adequate blood flow takes place into the upper limb. Anastomosis around the scapula branches from the subclavian artery will be the suprascapular artery and superficial cervical artery, and branches from the axillary artery will be the subscapular artery. And anastomosis around the surgical neck of the humerus, it will take part by the anterior circumflex humeral artery and posterior circumflex humeral artery. Now you have to assess by yourself by giving the answer of these questions. These are first is explain muscles of shoulder joint, and next is explain axillary nerve. So you can you should write very decently the answer of this question. Thank you so much.